All right, guys, I want to take a few minutes and talk about the strict muscle up and how it relates to everything we've been talking about. The strict muscle up is just a combination of a pull up where I transition into a ring dip and I press myself out of that. It takes a lot of upper body strength, but there's a lot of skill involved with it too. So first, let's talk about how it links back to our posture, our squat, or push up in a jump. That way we ensure we have the best leverages and body position possible. So, since I don't have to balance on the ground, my feet are going to be together, butt cheek squeeze, draw my lower abs in, Kegel, rib cage down, stand tall. My shoulders are going to be in the back of their sockets, and I'm going to create that external torque that we see in the push-up. So with my arms overhead, shoulders are back, creating that torque, and I'm going to keep the elbow pointed forward because I'm keeping that torque in my shoulder as I pull down, and then I'm going to keep that torque going through the ring dip. So I'm gonna always twist externally into the rings, and keep in mind, even though the rings start like this, my goal is not to make it look like I'm holding onto a bar. My goal is to create that torque into the rings, and you'll actually see the rings rotate. So it's not so much what it looks like, it's what we're doing that really matters. So basically what I'm trying to do in the strict muscle up is keep those rings close together and close to my body as I pull down, and it's almost like a strict chest to bar pull-up. From here, this is where a lot of technique comes in, and it's not just a pure muscle. What I want to try and do is get my body weight from in front of the rings and shift my body weight back. That shift, we're going to see it again in the kipping muscle up, but that body weight shift really gives me the leverage and positioning I need to make that transition, which is the hardest part for most people, make that transition as easy as possible. So as I jump up to the rings, I first make sure my shoulders are engaged and my body is nice and tight. That way I'm getting the most efficient use out of my muscles. I'm going to keep the rings tight and then watching the transition as I try and shift my body weight back, and that's going to transition me into the bottom of that ring dip. So, another thing that's necessary for the strict muscle up is just the grip we're going to use. It's called a false grip, and I'm trying to get the best leverage I can on the ring. So it's kind of similar to how we like to grip the bar on our pull-ups and bar muscle-ups too, where we're trying to get that kind of cocked wrist position to get a lot of lat engagement and just help our leverages. In the false grip, I'm not simply just hanging on here with the rings. You can see I jump up really high and I try and loop the palm of my hand in there, so most of the weight is sitting on the palm of my hand. I make sure I've got that position tight before I pull up and go. So, false grip, super important. I'm not sure I can even do a muscle up without the false grip. Those inches right there, as far as leverage goes, matters a lot. So how does this tie in? My body's nice and tight. My shoulder positions through the whole movement look exactly like what I'm doing in a pull-up and a push-up. And then the thing that helps is just me transitioning my body weight from in front of the rings when I'm under them to behind the rings when I'm over them. And ultimately, that's what's going to help that transition and give me the leverages I need to press out of there. All right, practice, have fun.